Hi, I'm Kelly from Blinding Beauty, and I am going to start a playlist on this channel that doesn't really have a whole lot to do with my company, Blinding Beauty, or with cosmetics or tutorials, and that is my visual impairment keratoconus. And I want to do this because I know that it is a rare condition to have, so anyone that you can find who shares this condition and can share a perspective with you if you have this is a really good thing to have. So I figured I would put this out there so people who also have this have a perspective that they wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm going to first just lay out a couple really basic facts about keratoconus that I looked up and I will have on my phone. So if I stare at my phone, it's because I'm reading some facts off of it and I can't see very well, so I have to look at it pretty closely, just because you may be very new to this condition, or you are just someone who maybe has a relative that has it, or you're just simply interested in the condition. So it's a rare condition, and the statistic is that it affects between 1 and 600 people for a 100,000 person population. And they don't really know the cause of it yet, and they think that it could have some links with another disease or, mechanical rubbing, like rubbing your eyes really hard, wearing your contacts for a long time, and the last two are what I think caused my keratoconus. There are treatment options, which I will talk about later because I will be going through some of those. So those are the basic facts right now, and I'll let you in on some more as I go on. But I will, in this video, and maybe a second part depending on how long I talk about my experiences, I will tell you about my experiences that I've had so far, and then I will create more videos because I am getting some treatments done, and I want to take you along the way so you have a reference of how it is, what it really feels like, what to expect. So, yeah, and I'll tell you about my eye doctors and what I've been through with treatments and stuff before. So, I was first diagnosed with keratoconus, I want to say about 6 years ago when I was a junior in high school. But before that, my vision had really started declining, and I wasn't seeing very well, obviously, and the eye doctors I went to, they weren't really like eye doctors. I mean, they were eye doctors, don't get me wrong. They were eye doctors specifically for like Eyeglass World or OSSIP, eyeglass companies and places that you go to get your glasses and contacts. So they didn't really exactly know what was going on, and I think after that I went to an ophthalmologist finally after, my junior year when I finally got diagnosed and found out that it was keratoconus. By this point, I was really trying to drive, but it was really affecting my vision, and even now I still can't drive, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But so I got diagnosed in my junior year of high school, which was about 6 years ago. And the people I went to didn't really know a whole lot of what to do. They suggested other contacts, which I went through a whole bout of, and I will continue to tell you about that. But the first pair of contacts that I got was a hybrid between soft and hard lenses. So the outside was soft and the inside was hard. And they worked for a period of time, but they were really uncomfortable. So I went to that ophthalmologist, and as I said, I was trying to learn how to drive. I got my permit, and I just got really scared. It was really hard for me to see on the road, and it was not a fun experience for me. My field of vision isn't very good. My peripheral vision, is not that great either. But my vision has even since declined then, so it's kind of hard to, compare. But so I stopped driving because it scared me too much. I didn't want to hurt myself or anyone else on the road, which has been hard, and I want to correct that relatively soon, probably within this year or next. But sorry, I keep saying that. I'm just trying to think um, because this was a long time ago. So I just want to recall what I went through. So I had that. I had the hard contacts with the soft edge. They were really painful after a while. Then I went my freshman year of college, I believe, to a optometrist, not an ophthalmologist. Actually, there's a story in between this. Before I got this second pair of contacts that I'm about to tell you about, I went to an ophthalmologist and I had all the tests done and, same diagnosis, keratoconus, but he wasn't a very friendly doctor and he just automatically was, okay, you need a transplant, and we didn't really look at other options at that point in time, and maybe it was a possibility to do some of these other treatments. There are things called intacs, which are these rings that go into your eye to kind of stretch out your cornea and make it form back into that shape, which are supposed to help. There's this thing called cross-linking, which I'll get into more later, but that is a study currently. It's not currently FDA approved, so maybe the doctor I went to couldn't do that for me, but just didn't want to say. And then there's the transplant and contacts, of course. So he automatically was saying, you need a transplant, that's what you need to do. And he just wasn't very nice about it, especially since I really kind of need at least a little bit of my vision because I am an artist and I don't want to lose that completely. So I was scared, of course. And I didn't really want to go back to that person. And I think I did later on. So I went to college. Sorry, hold on. My computer's not charging. Okay. So anyway, I went to college, and I believe my freshman or sophomore year of college, I went to an optometrist, and he gave me full, just regular hard contacts. And they worked for a while, but again, they just became uncomfortable after a long period of time, and I just didn't like to wear them a whole lot. Which stinks because if you would know, if you have keratoconus and you've had these specialty contacts, they're not cheap. So, if you spend a lot of money on these, you want to be able to wear them and be comfortable in them. So that was the next pair of contacts I had. And then recently, I think last year, I went back. Before that though, I think like months before I went to this last doctor that gave me the contacts, I went back to that guy that was not very nice and had more tests done. I had the same tests done and same diagnosis, keratoconus, same solution, transplant. Okay, so I was really upset. I went home crying and, just was totally upset for the rest of the day. After that, I went to another optometrist who had more experience with working with people who had keratoconus, and he suggested this type of contact that just kind of domed over your cornea instead of kind of being on it or being really close to it. So they're larger contacts that kind of like dome over your eyes so it's not as painful. And I still do wear those. I'm not currently because I am about to get a treatment and I want my contacts out for as long as possible beforehand. So, so I got these contacts that dome over my eye. You fill them with a bunch of solution and then you put them in your eye. They're completely hard contacts still. They work, but after some period of time, they do start to irritate me. It's more when I take them out than when I'm wearing them, but they do irritate me. So I went back to a doctor for a consult for a transplant. And that's what I will be doing in a couple of weeks. But I will dive into more detail about that in a short while. So if you have keratoconus, this is my personal experience. I really, really don't like going to the eye doctor. And it's not because of the, where they use numbing drops and measure the depth of your cornea or do the topography or all of that. That doesn't really bug me. What bugged me the most when I was growing up with keratoconus and going to the eye doctor for new contacts or glasses was just the eye chart. I hated the eye chart because I know that I can't see. So which one's better? This one or this one? This one or this one? It never made a difference, and I just hated dealing with that. It wasn't really a waste of time because they did, monitor my prescription a little bit, but it never helped. Like, I could never really see out of my right eye. So yeah, to go into detail about my personal keratoconus, my right eye is completely shot. I really can't see out of it very well. I'm looking at my camera. I can't really see my face on the screen. I can see an outline of it, and that's about it. Everything I see is blurred, even with my contacts or glasses. With my contacts, it's better. It really is, but they are uncomfortable and probably doing a little bit of damage to my cornea. So my right eye is pretty shot. I can't see out of it really at all. It's really advanced. So even though I didn't really like that one doctor, his diagnosis and his treatment solution is what is going to happen on my right eye, which is a transplant. And my left eye is not as advanced. I can still see pretty clearly out of it, although I do have keratoconus, and that's in this eye as well. That's generally the case. One is generally more advanced than the other, but you generally have it in both eyes. So I got those contacts. I went back to that eye doctor. Hated doing the eye charts. And I mean, I don't know if you have had to do this in school, but in some of my science classes, I had to do eye charts. And I hated doing that because I would just have to tell my classmates, yeah, I'm pretty much blind. I can't really see, so can I please just not do this? So anyway, so I went back to that doctor that I did not like, and he told me to get a transplant. And I think that was before I got the larger contacts. I think the next guy I saw was much nicer and told me the same thing, that I needed a transplant. So the last thing that I just did probably about a month ago was to get a consult for my transplant, or see if that's really what I needed again. But basically we went in knowing that's what I would need, and we just wanted to get a consult and get an appointment set up. So I have to check the time on this. Okay, I'm going to have to stop this here and do another one because YouTube limits how long your videos can be. So I will do a part 2. See you then.